When you talk about wealth, power, and influence, my family owns Legos. Who did you say you are again? You really think you would choose you? Take a good look at yourself, you stink of generational poverty. Those were the words Zanab spoke to Amaka.
Welcome to Moonlight Stories, where we give you premium folktale experiences. Hit the subscription button to always get notifications on our latest stories and enjoy.
The sun beat down over Mushin like it was determined to dry every drop of sweat off Legos. Amaka Yuzo sat beside her mother on a low wooden stool, peeling beans for tomorrow's sale. Their one-room apartment was stuffy, walls stained from years of kerosene fumes and patched-up ceilings. A small transistor radio played Ebenezer Obey faintly in the background, and Amaka's hands moved with a rhythm learned from years of routine. It was a normal Tuesday. Or, at least, it was until Mama Yuzo walked in from the corridor barefoot, breathless, and clutching a white envelope like it held life inside it. "Amaka," she said, voice trembling, "you've been chosen." Amaka blinked. Chosen for what, Mama? Tears streamed freely down her mother's cheeks as she extended the envelope. It bore the emerald gold seal of Emerald Hills Academy, the elite private secondary school on the island that most girls from Mushin only saw in movies. Inside was a letter offering Amaka a full academic scholarship, tuition, books, uniforms, transport. Her breath caught as she read the words, her hands shaking like the pages were dipped in electricity. Her mother knelt, clasping her hands in prayer, whispering thanks to God over and over. That night, they shared their last yam, boiled and eaten with palm oil and salt, like it was a royal banquet. "Never envy the rich, Amaka," Mama said gently. "Their perfume can't always hide their pain. Just focus on your books. Your time has come." The next morning, Amaka stood at the imposing gates of Emerald Hills, her heart pounding in her chest. She wore her new school uniform, clean and crisp, but her shoes, oversized and stitched at the sides, told her truth. Students stepped out of SUVs and sleek sedans. Amaka walked in alone, her father's cracked leather satchel swinging by her side. She didn't know it yet, but the next few weeks would change her life forever. Emerald Hills Academy gleamed like a palace of dreams. Cream and gold buildings towered in neat rows, their tinted glass reflecting the Lego sun. Amaka stood quietly outside her new classroom, heart thudding like a drum. Students walked past her, laughing in perfect English, dressed in blazers that still smelled new. She adjusted the strap of her satchel and stepped inside. Silence. Heads turned. A few girls looked her up and down, pausing in her patched shoes and bag that looked like it belonged in a museum. Someone whispered, "Who let the street girl in?" The teacher didn't bat an eye. "Class, this is Amaka Yuzo, the scholarship student from Mushin. Take a seat, please." She took the only open seat. Front row, middle, it didn't matter. She came to learn, not to impress. At break time, while students flooded into the cafeteria for plates of jollof rice and grilled chicken, Amaka walked to the edge of the school field where a tall mango tree stood, half forgotten. She opened her small lunchbox, boiled yam slices with red oil. Her mother had woken early to pack it, tucking in a handwritten note. "Don't forget who you are." She ate slowly, savoring the quiet. Behind her, laughter and camera flashes buzzed. Some girls walked past and giggled. Why does her food smell like a bus park? Someone tell her this isn't a village. Amaka heard, but she didn't flinch. She looked up instead, past the mango trees' swaying branches and into the open sky. That was when she first noticed him. Justin Okoro, tall, neat haircut, soft-spoken, always reading something. Today, it was a science magazine. He stood by the library window, watching her, not with mockery, with interest. Their eyes met briefly. He nodded. She looked away. But someone else saw the look too. Zanab, the queen of Emerald Hills, all gloss and confidence. Her eyes narrowed. That moment beneath the mango tree had planted more than a memory. It had sown the first seeds of something deeper. By the end of her first week at Emerald Hills, Amaka had learned one truth. Excellence made you a target. Every time she raised her hand in class, eyes rolled. Every time a teacher praised her, someone whispered, show off. But she stayed focused. Her notebooks were always full. Her test scores flawless. Her composure unshakable, at least on the outside. But on the inside, she ached. She missed Mushin, the noisy mornings, her mother's voice humming as she cooked, the small joys of simplicity. At Emerald Hills, her brilliance was admired by adults but feared by students. The gap between her and them was more than wealth. It was culture, confidence, and class. Until one day, everything began to shift. It was a Wednesday afternoon. The classroom buzzed with tension as a surprise math quiz was handed out. As usual, Amaka completed hers first and rested her pen. She caught Justin glancing at her from his seat. He looked stuck. She hesitated, then slid her paper halfway toward him under the desk. He shook his head, lips curving into a small smile, refusing to cheat. After class, she found a note slipped into her locker. "You're brilliant. I mean it, Jay." She didn't smile, but her fingers lingered on the paper longer than they should have. The next day, Justin approached her in the library. "You explain things better than the math teacher," he said. "Would you mind helping me with vectors?" She nodded shyly. They started studying together. After school, at lunch, quiet corners of the library. No one noticed. But she noticed everything. The way he listened when she spoke. The way he didn't care about appearances. The way his kindness felt real. Zanab noticed too. She had been away that week, in London for a fashion show with her mom. But when she returned and saw Justin laughing softly at something Amaka said, her heart dropped. She didn't speak, but the war had already begun, and Amaka didn't even know she was in the middle of it. Zanab Bakir returned to Emerald Hills with a bang. She stepped out of her family's black Mercedes G-Wagon, wearing designer sunglasses, and a gold-accented school bag that looked more expensive than a year's rent in Mushin. Her hair was slicked into a perfect ponytail, and her gloss lips curled in a knowing smile. Students flocked to her like bees to Zobo. They gushed over her trip, her photos, her shoes, everything. But Zainab's attention was elsewhere. She was watching Justin, and Justin was with Amaka. In the school courtyard, under the shade of the frangipani trees, they sat together, heads bowed over the same textbook, laughing over a joke only they understood. Justin nudged Amaka's elbow, and she laughed. A soft laugh, unguarded and beautiful. Zanab's smile froze. She had known Justin since childhood. Their families were linked through oil money, politicians, and secret business deals. The expectation was always there. Zanab and Justin would end up together. But here was Amaka Yuzo, the scholarship girl with second-hand shoes, winning his attention with nothing but her brain and her presence. Zanab walked over slowly. "Justin," she said, voice syrupy. "Miss me?" He looked up, surprised. "Z, hey, welcome back." Zanab turned to Amaka. "Hi," she said, her smile perfect. "You must be the famous scholarship genius. I've heard a lot about you." Amaka stood politely. "Hi. Welcome back." Zanab extended her hand, her gold bracelets clinking. Amaka shook it, firm but cautious. "Well," Zanab continued, flipping her hair, "I hope you don't mind if I steal Justin away. We have some catching up to do." Justin stood awkwardly. "Actually, we were just—" "It's fine," Amaka said quickly, gathering her books. She walked away without looking back. Zanab slipped her arm through Justin's. "So," she said, leading him away, "tell me everything." But even as Justin walked beside her, his eyes lingered, searching the crowd for the girl beneath the mango tree. The school was buzzing about Zanab's return, but Amaka wasn't part of the excitement. She kept her head down, her heart guarded. She had never expected to be liked, only respected, but she hadn't prepared for the way Justin made her feel or how easily he was pulled away. She avoided the courtyard now, and during lunch, she returned to her old spot beneath the mango tree. There, the world was quieter. One afternoon, as she unwrapped her mother's boiled plantain, a shadow fell over her. She looked up, expecting Justin. It was Zanab, with a smile too perfect to be real. "Can I sit?" she asked, already lowering herself beside Amaka. Amaka nodded cautiously. Zanab opened her canteen lunch, basmati rice, grilled tilapia, a side of spicy sauce, and didn't speak for a moment. The two girls sat under the tree, the only sounds coming from the soft breeze and far-off chatter of students. "You're different," Zanab said finally. "People here pretend a lot, but you don't." "Thank you," Amaka replied, unsure where this was going. "I like that," Zanab said, digging into her rice. "And Justin likes that too." Amaka froze. Zanab didn't look up. She spoke as if commenting on the weather. "He talks about you, you know. Says you're brilliant. Kind. Humble." She laughed softly. "Honestly, I've never seen him look at someone that way." Amaka kept quiet. "But here's the thing," Zanab continued, finally raising her eyes. "In this world, our world, kindness isn't always enough." Amaka's jaw tightened. "What world is that?" Zanab smiled sweetly. "The one where people don't just admire power. They marry it." She stood up, brushing imaginary dust from her skirt. "See you in class." Amaka watched her walk away, heart pounding. That conversation wasn't just lunch talk. It was a warning dressed in lace. Zanab wasn't just beautiful. She was strategic. And now, she had her eyes on Justin. But something deeper stirred in Amaka, not fear, not jealousy, but a challenge. Justin Okoro had always lived in a world of brilliance. Shimmering lights, private jets, billion-naira boardrooms. But nothing glittered quite like Zanab Bakir. At least, not before. Since her return from London, she had been different. Her laughter felt louder, rehearsed. Her presence, more performative. He had grown up knowing her as a childhood playmate, the kind his parents hoped he'd marry. And once, he might have even entertained that future. But now, every time he looked at her, he found himself searching for something beneath the surface, and coming up empty. Meanwhile, Amaka haunted his thoughts. It wasn't just her intelligence. It was the way she spoke with clarity. Her restraint when ridiculed, her calm when others crumbled under pressure. She was real, and that realness made her radiant. One afternoon after physics class, Justin caught up with her in the corridor. "Amaka," he called gently. "Got a moment?" She hesitated, then nodded. They found a quiet spot behind the science block. "I feel like you're avoiding me," he said plainly. "I'm not," she replied, voice soft. "I've just been focused." "Zanab said something to you, didn't she?" Amaka didn't answer. She didn't need to. Justin sighed, running a hand through his short curls. "Look, I know Zanab means well, but—" "Does she?" Amaka cut in, eyes locking with his. That silence said everything. Justin leaned against the wall, staring at her. "You know, the first time I saw you under that mango tree, I thought, this girl doesn't need the world to see her to know she matters." Amaka's chest fluttered, but she held her ground. "Then why are you letting her write our story?" Before he could reply, the school bell rang. Students began pouring into the hallway, but neither of them moved. Zanab, standing on the upper balcony, watched the scene unfold, her painted nails gripping the railing tighter than necessary. For the first time, she realized she was losing. Not just Justin, but the power she had always assumed was hers by right. Zanab Bakir was not used to losing. She had ruled Emerald Hills since JSS 1, not by election, but by presence. When she entered a room, heads turned. When she posted on Instagram, the likes flowed like palm wine at a village wedding. But lately, something had shifted. The stares were still there, the admiration too. But so were the whispers. "Did you see Justin with Amaka after school?" "I heard they studied together all the time." She even beat Zanab in chemistry. "Twice." No, this wouldn't do. Zanab didn't confront threats. She eliminated them. With charm, manipulation, and if needed, humiliation wrapped in silk. So she planned her next move carefully. The following week, Emerald Hills held its annual Founders Day banquet, a lavish affair filled with governors' children, international alumni, and local celebrities. It was a chance to flaunt, to shine, and Zanab knew exactly what to do. She had her father sponsor the event's premium tables. She curated a designer outfit flown in from Dubai. And she made sure Justin's name appeared right beside hers on the VIP guest list, even if she had to beg his mother to make it happen. The night arrived. The hall glittered with chandeliers. Waiters floated with trays of suya-infused canapes and golden fruit punch. Students strutted in gowns and tuxedos, their parents smiling under Ankara head wraps and igbadas stitched by the best tailors on the island. Amaka arrived quietly. She wore a simple long gown, sky blue, sleeveless, borrowed from her cousin. Her shoes were the same patched black flats. She sat near the back, unnoticed by many, but not by Justin. He found her within seconds and left his table without explanation. "Amaka," he said, reaching for her hand. "I've been waiting all night to see you." She smiled, shy and uncertain. "You clean up well, Mr. Tech Prodigy." "Only if you're impressed," he teased. But just as he sat down beside her, a flash bulb popped. Zanab had arrived, in glittering silver, with a train so long it needed an assistant. She spotted them instantly, her eyes sharp behind her lashes. But she didn't flinch. She smiled, because Zainab Bakir had one more piece to move, and the banquet was about to become a battlefield. The music shifted to a mellow Afro-soul tune as students posed under the emerald green photo arch banquet lights bounced off sequins, silk, and subtle tension. Conversations flowed around Amaka and Justin, but their small corner felt like a separate world. That was until Zainab stepped into it. She glided through the room like a crowned queen, her silver gown catching every spotlight. Her voice was sugar-dipped, her smile flawless, but her eyes were calculating. "Justin," she said sweetly, placing a manicured hand on his shoulder, "why don't you come take a picture with me and the alumni board? They're asking about you." Justin didn't move. "I'm here with Amaka." Zainab blinked, lips twitching, then turned to Amaka. "Oh, of course. You're welcome to join us, if you don't mind standing in front of the banner." She gestured toward the backdrop, a custom-made display of past student achievements, club presidents, and competition winners. Front and center was a large framed image, Amaka, from her first year, holding a national science trophy. Amaka stood up slowly, eyes narrowing. The caption beneath the photo had been altered. Instead of first place winner, it now read, "Emerald Hill's greatest charity case." A few students nearby chuckled. Zainab gasped with exaggerated innocence. "Oh no, that must be a mistake. Amaka, I swear I didn't notice. This was printed by the media team." Her voice was loud enough for the crowd to hear. Whispers started. Some laughed. Others looked unsure. Amaka's chest rose and fell. Her lips parted, but before she could speak, "Enough." Justin's voice cut through the room like a thunderclap. He stepped in front of Amaka, facing the crowd. "She's not a charity case," he said firmly. "She's a reason this school even has a science trophy." The hall went silent. Zainab's smile faltered. Justin turned to Amaka. "You don't belong at the back. Come with me." He led her by the hand to the front table. And as they walked, students stepped aside, not for Zainab, but for her, the girl they used to mock, the girl they could no longer ignore. Zainab stood frozen, her silver gown shimmering under the hall lights. But for the first time, she felt invisible. They were all looking at Amaka, some with awe, others with apology in their eyes, but none with pity. She wasn't the quiet girl beneath the mango tree anymore. She was the girl who walked forward when others would have run, the girl who didn't need sequins or silk to shine. Zainab's fingers curled around the wine flute in her hand. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. She was supposed to be the spotlight. She was supposed to walk beside Justin like she always had, not the girl with borrowed shoes and second-hand dreams. As the banquet continued, Justin and Amaka sat together at the head table. They talked quietly, smiled gently. Zainab tried to laugh at her clique, tried to flip her hair and look unfazed, but her ears heard every whisper. Justin's with Amaka now. She stood up to Zainab and didn't flinch. She's real. Zainab's just noise. The final crack came when the principal announced an unexpected scholarship, one personally funded by Justin Okoro's father, in honor of outstanding humility and leadership, to a student who proves that background does not define brilliance. Miss Amaka Yuzo, please step forward. The applause was thunderous. Zanab's chest tightened as Amaka rose and walked with grace to the stage. She didn't strut. She didn't gloat. She simply bowed and said, "Thank you." That humility, that unbearable, unshakable calm, made something break inside Zanab. After the event, while students poured out into the warm Lagos night, Zanab cornered Justin near the parking lot, her voice trembling. "You're leaving me for her?" Justin looked at her for a long moment. "No," he said. "I left a long time ago. You just never noticed." Zanab's eyes burned as he walked away, not with hate, but with something far worse, irrelevance. And the girl she once dismissed as background was now center stage.